Tell me if I'm way off on that ratio, but the engine horsepower difference and just a few of the other aerodynamic differences and so on, it has to take you a little while to get back into the feel that you're looking for if you're somebody like Hamlin that hasn't driven one all year.
Yeah, absolutely. It does take that, and no more time than he got yesterday trying to give your crew the proper information that they need to make adjustments and things like that. But I think probably the biggest thing that you fight in these is, even though, like I say, the horsepower is one thing, and that's probably the biggest difference, you can adjust that to your driving style and just the speed. But it's the way that the cars sit on the front springs and things that would give the driver a totally different feel. But when you have somebody as good as Denny, he usually catches on to that pretty quick, Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, he only ran one nationwide race last year, and same with this year. This is the only race. So his feedback to Kevin Kidd, his crew chief, was, I'm not really sure what to compare it to. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be feeling like. But they're in the ballpark now on that stop. They adjusted him. He was tight, so they made a wedge adjustment. And Denny's feedback was, we are 30% better, so they're moving in the right direction.
All right, so he's figured out the 75% difference and gotten it 30% better, so...
Sounds like you ought to be good.
We're playing the percentages here at Chicagoland today. And we're 25% home in the race. Quarter distance done. While we're under caution in our NASCAR Nationwide Series race, reminder you can see qualifying for the NHRA Carolina Nationals late night tonight, 2 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2, and final elimination Sunday night in primetime at 8:30 Eastern Time. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, Race 1 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is right here, the MyAFibStory.com 400, tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN from this very Chicagoland Speedway. Kyle Busch starting on pole position. Ryan Newman will be alongside. Next Saturday's Nationwide Series action is at Kentucky Speedway, 7 Eastern on ESPN News. Ryan Blaney picking up that big win there a year ago. Separate site race. The NASCAR Sprint Cup cars will be up in New Hampshire, so it'll be interesting to see who takes home the trophy from Kentucky next weekend. So a couple of people have had some problems on this round of pit stops that we want to update you on. Denny Hamlin just made a second pit stop. This was the first. Watch the right front. All right, there's 5 off, but no, that one didn't go on. No, not that one.
Oh, my. This is disastrous.
No, not that one. And then he came in a second time for them to get some more lugs on that right front.
Do our best to dig out of it here. I'll be creative in here best I can. You just do what you can out there. We're in a hole. Sorry about that, but we'll just look forward here.
5th to 22nd for Denny Hamlin. Jamie?
Well, you see the guys checking their guns. That was the issue. The gun is malfunctioning. Remember, this is the Cup crew for Matt Kenseth, and there's been a lot of talk about the air guns and how it's helping these guys with their stops. And a lot of these guys are using their backup guns, not the one they'll use tomorrow. So they're taking a hard look at it because that was the issue that didn't get the lugs tight in the first place. Doc?
Yeah, Jamie and Ty Dillon came in twice as well. Ty said that since the start of the race, he felt a vibration in the car. He said he thought it was a loose body panel. When he came on the pit road a moment ago, they saw that the splitter was loose, which is the same problem they had in qualifying with the vibration. They thought they had fixed it. They tightened the splitter up, brought him back in, put bare bond on the front, see the tape on the front of the car there, and they hope they have it sealed up enough to keep the vibration away from the 3 car. He'll restart back in 24th.
All right, so Ty Dillon with the extra pit stop on that yellow flag also. So up front, Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick side by side. Kyle choosing the outside lane. Kyle Larson, Paul Menard in row 2. And going to add another lap to this caution, so it'll be another circuit around before we take the green flag. 93 car off the pace there. Kevin Swindell
We'll push it to the garage. We'll get somebody over there with him. Push him straight to the garage.
Appears to be out of power. And that is halfway down the backstretch. Which I'll refrain from calling back straight because it's not straight here at Chicagoland.
Nope, nothing straight about it. A little curve in the wall back there.
What makes this track unique? That's one of the things. Makes for a different exit to turn 2 and a very different entry to turn 3 than a lot of the D-shaped mile and a halfs that we go to during the course of the season. So while we're going back for another go-around down to the pit studio and check in with Nicole, Rusty, and Brad.
Yep, inside the Quicken Loans pit studio, we're watching the points battle. Regan Smith has been really honest about this track. He doesn't like it. It's not his best track. And when we were here just a few weeks ago, he had what he says is the worst race of his career. Now, right now, Chase Elliott is just a few spots ahead of him. Is this a gain for Regan Smith?
I think it is a gain for Regan Smith. He looks like he's having a decent day today. Not a great day, but he's gaining. At least he's not really upset with the car, complaining a lot. They keep working on the car every single stop. I think this is a game-changer day for Regan Smith. I do like what he's doing. He's got a ways to go yet, Brad, but he's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, and the restarts are critical. He's got to maintain track position or get some spots, so to speak, on these restarts and maintain it throughout the run. You can't get shuffled back because it gets spread out and you can't pass.
Just right now, 2 spots between Chase and Regan. Not exactly where they want to be, but getting better. Alan?
Well, you mentioned restart. Last restart was pretty entertaining. Got 3 wide for a bit for the race lead. Let's see how this one goes. We'll keep an eye on the car that's inside of row number 2, which is Kyle Larson, to see if he makes that bold move.
Yeah, Brendan Gaum, what a run. And here comes Chris Buescher on the outside, too.
And for the race lead, Kevin Harvick slides up in front of Kyle Busch to take the number 1 spot. A little more 3 wide. Regan Smith to the bottom. Elliott Sadler locked in that bad spot in the middle. How about Brendan Gaughan, 62? Talked about him getting caught early on the initial start, giving up some spots. Pit crew just gained him a pile on pit road here on this last stop. And now he's trying to make the most of it on the restart, fighting with his teammate at Richard Childress Racing here, Brian Scott, for 6th place.
Phenomenal stop, boys. Bad to the bone. That's why you picked that pit stall, Shane. Makes for a great pit road.
Yeah, he's got the first pit stall as you come on to pit road, and it looks like it's worked for him. Still have a little work to do with the race car, though. He took off on that restart, but he's sliding back a little now.
Chris Buescher, the Mid-Ohio winner, in the 60, fighting with Brendan Gaughan now.
Yeah, somebody else that's been impressive, as we talked about Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott and how impressive they've been. Chris Buescher has done an outstanding job all year in this race car.
Kyle Busch looking for a way back around Kevin Harvick's got a run here.
Here, Harvick have to get out. Just look, it makes it so difficult to drive off down in the corner. The car right on your outside. You're not getting all the air to your spoiler. Harvick handled it the right way, and I'm sure if it's later in the race, he might press that issue a little bit more. Denny Hamlin's done a nice job of making his way through traffic because he had to start behind all of the lap cars and everything after pitting that second time. So, pushing back forward.
Yep, EJ restarted 22nd, went 3 wide in that opening first set of quarters to try and pick up as many spots as he could. Now here racing Elliott Sadler for 12th place and moving on by.
And we had that battle for the lead going on. I just happened to glance up and saw Elliott Sadler going into turn 3 in the middle of a 3-wide situation again. So that's about 4 times since the green flag was thrown that he'd found himself in that position.
Obvious now refrain, not moving by, trying to move up. Sadler able to hold on to the spot. Trevor Bayne there, though, giving up a position to Denny Hamlin. And there's Ty Dillon in that 3, right side of the screen also, trying to make up lost ground with the extra pit stop under that last yellow. look back through your top 15 there. So Kyle Busch, after trading the lead with Kevin Harvick on the restart, giving it up for a couple of laps, has gotten it back and has put a little bit of a gap out on Kevin. 78 laps been run. Kyle Busch has led 66 of them. But seems to have plenty of competition today here at Chicagoland Speedway. The Jimmy John's Freaky Fast 300 for the NASCAR Nationwide Series on a sunny, somewhat chilly Saturday afternoon here at Chicagoland Speedway, being led by Kyle Busch. 9/10 of a second over Kevin Harvick is the gap. Mentioned next weekend's race at Kentucky. There's the remaining schedule for this season for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Got some fun stops to make over the course of the remaining summer and fall months. Join us at the track. NASCAR.com/tickets or that number at the bottom of the screen. Of course, the championship weekend down at Homestead Miami Speedway. And will it be young Chase Elliott that they hand the Nationwide Series championship trophy to down there in a couple of months? Kyle Busch out in front right now. Traded the lead with Kevin Harvick after that restart. Harvick got out in front for a couple of laps, but now Kyle has gotten back in command and put that gap on Harvick, who's running second. Talked about having plenty of competition today. This race 1 year ago, Kyle Busch led 195 of 200 laps in winning. He's got not quite that ratio going today, but still has been out in front by far more than most. Here's Chris Buescher in that 60 moving up, and Paul Menard in the 33 slipping back.
Yeah, he's been slipping back. He was in a battle with Chase Elliott for the 4th spot earlier, but he's continued that slide. So apparently adjustments that they made to this 33 car for Paul, not to his liking on this run. How about it there, Dave?
DJ, it's that back and forth pendulum. Remember, hitting the splitter, then nose too high, now hitting the splitter again. Paul says it's pretty tight, but that left side where you're focused right there in the corners, that's where he's hitting it, and now it's down again.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a battle you fight because there's so much to being just exactly right there. If you do hit the splitter, the front end takes off pushing. If you don't have enough front downforce, same thing. It just won't grip the front tire.
These race cars, they're so
tricky.
They're finicky. Ryan Blaney, 22, with a little wiggle and wobble, but trying to make up some of the lost ground. Remember, Blaney started on the outside of the front row in this one, but on the first pit stop back at lap 27, slid through his pit stall, fell from 5th back to 13th at the time. That was just 7th place he took from Paul Menard. So, Jamie, a little bit of an adventurous day so far for Blaney.
It has been, and it's really been one main issue. Loose, loose, loose. They just could not fix the problem. On the last stop, they went down 6 rounds. You never hear them say that. Nobody goes down 6 rounds unless your car is wrecking loose, and that's what it was. And the bad news for the team, it's loose again.
Wow. Of course, Ryan, one of a couple drivers doing double duty today. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race that was scheduled to be run here last night was canceled by rain, so it's going to be run after the Nationwide Series race today. Ryan, one of the drivers fighting for the Truck Series championship, so he'll go to do double duty, as well as Kyle Busch after this one's over. So 500-mile afternoon and evening of racing for some of these guys here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, Kyle Busch is going to have a lot of racing to do in a short amount of time. With the rain out of that, it's kind of his schedule here for the next about 26, 27 hours by the time he completes the Sprint Cup race tomorrow afternoon. A lot of miles to put behind him.
And, of course, Kyle starting on pole for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race after getting the fast time set in practice yesterday, which ended up being the determining order for the starting grid after qualifying was rained out yesterday afternoon. So on the pole for the Cup race tomorrow, leading the Nationwide race today, and going to start at the back in search of a trophy in the Truck Series race later.